Richard Randall, and welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. Barb's the host of the program, and this is your weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, host of the program and the owner-broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most people are very concerned about which comes first, sell first, then live in temporary housing, or buy first or sell at your leisure. It's a catch-22. Barb, what are some solutions that you have at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty?
Well, Richard, it is, most home sellers, when they go on the market, they want it to sell like right away. There's no waiting anymore. They don't like waiting. They want it to be done right away. And they also want the most money. So sometimes it doesn't work if they overprice the home. And I see that happen occasionally where people just ask too much and the market's not willing to jump on it. And you can tell right away if you're getting very few showings, if you're not getting offers, then the market's saying, I'm finding some better choices in that price range. But at the end of the day, home sellers absolutely want certainty that their house is going to sell, that they'll get the price that they want and need, and that things will go smoothly. So we try very hard to make sure it goes smoothly. However, there's a lot of things out of your control. There's probably about 40 different vendors that have their hand into the sale of a home for various reasons. You've got movers, you've got inspectors, you've got lenders, you've got buyers agents, you've got buyers, you got sellers, you got listing agents, you got title companies, and on and on. So it's a lot of people that play in the process. And most of the time it goes pretty well. Usually the biggest pain points for people are inspection. And then every once in a while, sometimes buyers for some reason can't pull off financing. That's probably less common. I think you can prevent that by making sure that your agent gets ahead of that and talks to the lender and has a warm fuzzy about really how far along that buyer is in the process. I actually had an agent call me not too long ago, and she goes, "Hey, will your seller accept to pay my buyer's closing cost to the tune of 6%? 6% of the house, right? So figure 500,000 times six. That's $30,000 in closing costs. Don't you think that sounds like a lot of money, Richard?
That sounds like that. Yes, that sounds like a lot of money as far as I'm concerned. And I think most people would say, yeah, that sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot of money, and it's not uncommon for buyers to ask the seller to pay some of their loan closing costs, and we can negotiate that. We can do some back and forth, and there can be, we could probably go up in price to cover some of their cash issues. Most of the time, the buyers are looking to pay their interest rate down so they can have a lower house payment, which I understand that, but there's nothing that says it has to be a seller cost. So it really depends on the market. So all those things kind of take place in negotiations. The other sticking point that happens a lot is you get a buyer that falls in love with the home, but they have a house to sell. And they're like, Mr. Seller, will you take my house off? Will you take your house off the market and wait for me to sell my home, which is not on the market yet? What do you think about that one, Richard?
I would tell you, I need somebody. I keep going back to this, Barb. I need somebody like you because a lot of these things, your gut feeling is telling you, whoa, this is not a good idea. But you really don't know as a layperson how to handle this, whether you're buying or selling. You just don't know. That is why having somebody like you, not just with the knowledge, but the experience, it's invaluable.
Yeah. And I mean, there are some people that are not in a hurry and they're okay with waiting for somebody else to sell their home. And sometimes it can work out, but I will say in this market right now, there's a lot more risk. So we have solutions for all of these issues, especially if the home seller and or their buyer has a substantial amount of equity available in their house. We can help them make that transition. The very traditional way of dealing with that is maybe you go out and get a home equity line of credit, which can work fine if you have the income and the ability to qualify both for the payments on the line of credit for whatever payment you have on your house right now, as well as the payments on the new house. And I would say most people can't do all three, right? So what else is there? There are a couple loan programs that they're kind of like loan programs, but it's just funded in a different way where you could take the equity out of your home. You don't have any payments and it becomes a lien on your house. And you can use those funds to buy your next home. And then when your home sells, then you get that money paid off and you get the rest of your equities. And that's we have two investors that'll do that. And I've had clients take advantage of it. And it's actually a pretty good idea, especially if you bought your home first and you're in a situation where you don't qualify for the new home without selling your current home. So, so mostly, home sellers would love to have cash. Cash is the best thing ever, because you don't have to worry about an appraisal. But at the end of the day, the seller is getting cash at closing, no matter what kind of financing they're getting. So it's a little bit more of a sure bet. Typically, when you're getting cash offers, the sellers have more certainty that it's going to go through. They don't have to worry about loan approval and financing going through and stuff like that. But you have to be very, very careful about considering offers with a contingent sale. Like a couple of years back, I had somebody that brought me an offer and it was not contingent on their home selling. There were 3 offers on the table, but apparently the seller had met this buyer, liked the buyer, wanted him to buy the house. And so I started doing my research, and thank God this lender answered the phone on a Sunday, which really doesn't happen that often. And I said, hey, by the way, do they have a house to sell before they're buy? And he goes, yeah, but I think it's already sold. I'm like, oh, really? What's the address? So I looked up the address and it turns out the house was on the market and it wasn't sold yet. So we were still in negotiations, but the agent failed to make his contract contingent on the home selling. So that's why it's really important that you hire an agent that really understands, hey, we got to get on the phone. We got to do our own due diligence, because in the state of Colorado, when a seller accepts an offer, the seller is pretty much committed to the deal and they have to wait for the buyer to walk away or close, one or the other. Whereas the buyer has like 8 or 10 off ramps to get out of the deal, no harm, no foul. And they've tied up that property waiting for whatever their quote due diligence is. That's just the way the state of Colorado is. And so you want to be sure before you commit your house to that buyer and tell the world that it's under contract that you've got somebody that can play. And so those pieces of uncertainty really make a seller kind of crazy. And they're just very frustrated and disappointed when those kind of things happen. So you want somebody to at least be looking out for you when it's time to sell your house. And we have a whole bunch of different solutions for these problems. The people that have a house to sell that don't qualify for 2 payments, we've got a bunch of cash investors really that can solve these problems with our cash offer program. And if you'd like to find out more about that, you can give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, we've gone from all home selling for a premium price to homes sitting longer on the market and some homes, honestly, not selling. How do you give your home sellers certainty when it comes to sale?
Well, we have different guarantees and in place that will cover certain things like communication guarantee, honest promise guarantees, reality-based selling price and time frame, honest presentation and track record guarantee, qualified buyers guarantee. That's something that drives me crazy because sellers really don't want unqualified buyers traipsing through their house. And then we also have 100% of market value guarantee. But we also have the cash offer program to guarantee certainty that it's going to go through one way or the other, whether or not you're taking a contract from a buyer that wants to live in the home or taking a contract from an investor. Either way, we've got solutions for you. And all you need to do is give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
This is the fun portion of the program for you, for me, for the listeners. You've got some hot new listings coming up. Tell us about them.
Richard, I've got a really, really pretty home in Briargate on Camfield Circle, 8230, priced at $439,999, all gleaming hardwood floors. Really, really nice home that backs to open space. A really fun investment, 2-unit historic building up in Cripple Creek at 292, an amazing home in Woodland Park on 1 acre with gorgeous views at 299. 2 homes out on Rush Road. So if you want peace and quiet, this is it on the east side of the county. One home at 374,999 has over 2 acres plus lots of outbuildings, and it backs to open space. The other one at 355 Rush Road, 464. This one has 9 acres, multiple garages and outbuildings, peace and quiet, and backs to open space. So if you are thinking of being out there in the quiet and wide open, it's just down the street from very, very nice brand new schools in Rush. And give us a call at 719-301-3900. We also have a really cool home on 610 Tower Road, priced at $499. This home, actually, the basement has been rented Airbnb, and the seller was able to command about $15,000 a month in income, renting out half the house. We also have a fabulous rancher, no HOA, with RV parking on Mountain Garland at $599. A really beautiful 2-story in District 12 schools on Beckett Drive at $695. Great home, full over 4,000 square feet. A beautiful patio home that backs to the golf course on Spanish Oak Terrace at $749. This one's owned by the VA, this really cool house. They just lowered the price to $379 on Domi Kite. That's right off of Interquest, down there by all the shopping and In-N-Out Burger and all that. Really cute home on Delray in pristine condition, priced at $399, not far from the park. Another great Briargate home, priced at $454,999, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, great location. And then a really fabulous 2-story on Eagle Canyon Drive off of Peterson Road. Great location, close to Peterson Space Force Base, priced at $479,999. This home has 2 masters and great views. Another amazing 2-story that's just hitting the market. We're going to have it open this weekend, 2057 Killdeer Court, close to Peterson Space Force, priced at $479,999. A beautiful home with an extra garage and man cave space on 1240 Big Valley Drive at $715,000. And then a spectacular home in prestigious Summerfield and Briargate, 8935 Coberdale Court, priced at $659,999. And then a beautiful home on 5081 Broadmoor Bluffs, backs to NORAD at $684,999. We got a couple more. There's one on True Vista Drive up in Monument at $734,999. Really, really beautiful home next to the Broadmoor on Leeming Drive at $800. And then an eye-watering, spectacular, gorgeous home over 7,000 square feet with Pikes Peak views in High Forest Ranch on 16145 Open Skyway, priced at $2,095,000. And a lot for sale on Hidden Valley. So to find out about all of our homes and our coming soon homes, go to barbhasthebuyers.com and you can find them right there, or give us a call at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And remember, you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker, or you can listen to the podcast on all of the popular podcast platforms, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, many, many others. Thanks for listening. To reach out again to Barb, 719-301-3900. Have a great week. Barb, look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you. You as well.